Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative way to invest your extra money that has a low barrier to entry and low competition? What if I told you that it is a guaranteed method to get up to 18 to 20% return on your investment? Tax lien and deed purchasing is the only way to get into the real estate market through the back door. No credit and no loans needed. This method isn't commonly taught, and therefore the competition is very low, for now. Put together a 14-hour info-packed course which will teach you everything you'll need to know to get started. Learn at your own pace, step-by-step guided video and aids to start you on the TLC deed investment process. The course offers many learning tools for new investors, helping ensure you safely invest in tax liens and deeds. Contact us today and join the buyback team. Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative...
Welcome to Primetime Home Buyers. You're here with Lady Lashley, your real estate legal consultant. And today, welcome to our first spring session of our Real Estate Secrets free information session. We hold it the first Sunday and sometimes the third Sunday of the month, depending on how many weeks are in the month. So, if you are interested in investing in real estate in alternative ways, this is the place for you. So, our goal is to help you demystifying how to diversify your real estate portfolio or demystify your curiosity about potential profits hidden within tax lien and accusation. Okay, this is what we're here to do today. Then we want you to continue to mark your calendar because we're going to continue to give you information, free information every month and also weekly with our weekly uploads on YouTube and sometimes Instagram. All right. So in this session today, we're going to highlight some of the fundamentals of real estate investment pertaining to tax lien and deed investments. What makes this particular program and information that I offer so authentic and important is because it helps you do your due diligence. This is why the information that I share with you guys as a legal real estate consultant helps you mitigate your risk factors when investing in foreclosures, tax deeds, tax liens, and pretty much any sector of real estate. The goal is for you to be well rounded, to be able to know what is the steps you need to do to get to the end result, and that is acquiring the property as well as doing it safely with the least cost. Okay, so let's get to it. We have a PowerPoint to show everyone today. We're going to put that on the screen and we're going to work our way through it. So our PowerPoint today is going to be focused on tax liens and tax deeds. Now, what we want you to do is get your pens and papers ready because we're going to divulge some information about how to do your due diligence. Okay, let's make sure that we got everything on the screen correctly and you guys can see me. Hold on one second. All right, guys, let's get to it. Thank you for being here with us today. So, the buyback team, the need to know before investing in tax lien properties. So, you guys, first we have to start off by finding out what states offer or which particular states offer tax liens as an investment avenue. So, we have a list. In Alabama is one, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and the list goes on. If you're part of the membership, you'll be able to see the list that we have. Now, Florida on this particular example is a hybrid tax lien state, and this is something that we can get into in the future because there's more than one or two steps that you have to do to acquire properties in Florida. All right. So you want to start off by knowing what state you are interested in because then that's where you're going to move forward to start to do your due diligence. All right. The steps in the TLC process is the tax lien process. Property owner fails to pay their taxes. A tax lien is the legal right the legal right a tax authority has to your property due to unpaid taxes. This gives them priority over other creditors if you sell or refinance your property. These things has to get paid. So this is the process of the lien being put on someone's property. A lien is different from a levy. A lien is a claim, while a levy is an actual seizure of the property. And that's usually when you are acquiring tax deeds or foreclosure properties. Okay. So, while a levy is actual seizure of your property, it can be done by governments to satisfy debts. However, an unpaid lien can eventually lead to a levy. The tax authority determine when to issue a levy, and you'll receive a written notice at least 30 days prior. And that depends on your state. You know, some states related to tax lien certificates, they have a 2-year redemption, a 1-year redemption before that lien can advance to be a levy. Okay. Tax liens can significantly damage your credit. Unpaid liens can remain on your credit report indefinitely, and even paid liens can stay up to 7 years from the filing date. So you want to know the state law, and this is to the people who have liens on them, because they need to know how this can affect them. And if you are an investor in tax liens and you have a history where certain things on your credit report, you already know that this won't affect you, um, or stop you from investing in tax lien in the tax lien sector, because they don't do credit checks. So the tax lien auction. What is a tax lien auction? The method for selling properties varies across the country. Many small counties still use live auction, which may be held at the county courthouse or in a local venue. We also have other states or counties that choose to use online third party platforms. And those third party platforms sometimes host more than one county. And when we go over that from time to time, however, municipalities are moving to online auction formats because of their efficiency, especially if they have a high value of tax certificates to sell. Or they're that like a state like Georgia that does that tax sale every first Tuesday of the month. Types of tax lien auctions: live versus online. Live auctions. Many municipalities and counties, often smaller and more rural counties across the country, continue to utilize traditional live. That's the live auction. On site auctions for selling tax liens and deeds. These communities may lack the resources for online auction platforms or not enough tax defaults to justify the method. For information on live auctions, contact municipalities for county or excuse me, county treasurer for information. And you also can Google this information. It should be readily available for you. Online auctions. To manage tax default properties, these online auctions, including tax certificates and deeds, are offered there. Officials in many larger markets are utilizing online auction companies. Key platforms, as we went over, and we do have a few videos. We can link it for you guys on the thank you email. Grant Street Group is one. RealAuction.com. We went there before. Zistas Auction and Bid for Assets. These are great platforms to go start looking for tax liens to kind of get an idea of how much they cost, what they look like. And we do want you to be aware. The most important information we can give you in this session is to do your due diligence, because even on in these online auction platforms, if the houses are available, it does not mean they don't have a lien or an encumbrance on it. They usually tell you to do your due diligence. Okay. So hybrid sales, and that's the hybrid sales are places such as Florida. So in some states, notably Florida, hybrid system is this, where tax lien and tax deed sales are combined. Investors can purchase tax liens and hold them, accruing interest and penalties until the property owner either repays the debt or the property interest tax foreclosure. Now, this is in the state of Florida. This process allowed investors to earn returns like traditional tax lien investments until the foreclosure stage. And that means that in Florida, you will have to do an extra step to actually bid for the deed. We go into detail on the how to invest in Florida video. If you're part of the YouTube, please join the membership for $9.99 a month, and you will have access to all of the states that sell tax lien and tax deeds, a small informational session up to 45 minutes. We really break them down for you guys. Hybrid states, in contrast to most lien states, prevent the tax lien holder from initiating foreclosure if the property faces complete tax foreclosure. Instead, the property is sold at the tax deed sale where bidders bid to acquire it. So they bid to get the property at that point, and you have to be part of that. And the good thing in that, even though Florida's a little, the person who does pay that portions of that money that's paid at the deed auction goes back to you, and you do receive your interest as an initial investor. Tax deed auctions versus tax deed online sales. So you can do tax deed and at an auction, or they offer it online. So tax deed auctions, the in-person tax deed sales are a method by which the local government recovers unpaid property taxes when the property owner fails to pay their property taxes. Sounds similar. The government sees the property and sells it at the public auction. The difference is the state law. Okay, different states have different laws. Some turns into a lien first, or some turns directly into a deed, and that can sometimes take 3 years or 4 years or 2 years worth of back taxes before it actually advanced there. The winner bidder received the tax deed, which grant them ownership of the property, effectively wiping out previous mortgages and liens. Okay, except for IRS liens. These sales can present opportunities to acquire property at a below market price, but they also come with some risks. And that's why we stress to do your due diligence and do your pre-research before you put any money into any type of alternative real estate investments. Okay. Tax deed online auction works pretty similar, but it's online. The deed auction can occur either in person or via online platform. The bidding typically, excuse me, guys, begins with the total of unpaid taxes, interest, and penalties. These auctions generally operate like standard real estate auctions, where the property is awarded to the highest bidder. Okay, and sometimes it takes over a period of 24 hours. You have to sign up and things like that, and then you can participate. Okay, and they usually give you the rules and regulations. Foreclosure property sales. Some states bypass the deed auction process entirely and simply offer tax default properties for sale directly to the buyer. Most of these are offered at local municipalities or county level, usually through the Treasury's office. So they do have some foreclosure properties that they offer directly. And sometimes they do different methods, like i.e. example, when we were in Macon, it was called a sheriff sale, and they were selling it in this same manner of a tax lien, but it was already cleared and everything. It was no issues with it. So it's kind of like that. Some jurisdictions engage law offices to handle the sale. You can also find these foreclosure properties in the newspaper in the announcement section. You'll find that lawyers actually will post their real estate lawyers on the behalf of mortgage companies to, sell them. And if they don't sell them at a particular time, because it's part of the law, they have to do this for the amount that's owed, then they kind of keep it and put it on the market sometimes, acquiring more money back. That's why it's good for you to look through the announcement real estate section to see if it's foreclosure properties that they have, and contact the lawyer's office. So this is another alternative method of investing in real estate: tax liens, tax deeds, and foreclosures. So those are the ways that you can kind of go about seeking this information for foreclosures. Unlike the situation with auction, the price set tends to be close to the market value, as we told you. Sometimes, depending on the law, they have to sell it for the back amount that's owed plus attorney fees or whatever they're advertising, or it can be a percentage of the fair market value or closer to it. So while you can get a below market property, it won't likely be pennies on the dollar if you go the foreclosure way. Okay. The cheapest way is actually the tax lien way, but it's a longer process. Does that make sense? Can the owner stop the process? Redemption process and the property owner. Owners can pay taxes and fees. They can pay it in full. They can dispute the filing if there's issue. That's why we teach you in detail what happens from when the lien is put on the home to when it turns into the foreclosure process, if that's the way that the state set it up, as well as when the notification process and how go starts and ends, and how you're supposed to go about doing that. Because if there's process missing, which is known in this administrative process, the homeowner can have grounds to dispute. The homeowner also can set up installment plan with the county, and this is usually early in the process, and that's usually done before it gets to this point where it's already put up for auction. But it can happen, but it's rarely that can happen. Quick sell on the property, keep that in mind. But that it's under the realms kind of a fraud, because if you already the house is already listed at the tax lien sale and the homeowner already was given notification, and then they do a quick sale, like a quick claim deed, that's illegal. Okay, and they can get in trouble for that. Refinance of the property can happen if they filed it in a timely manner, where they were already going through the refinance process, and then maybe, let's say, 2 weeks later it was put on the lien list because they wasn't notified about the refinance, because usually they're not. That can be something, but that's rare. Objection to the assessment, that can slow it down, but that is something that's done ahead of time, usually yearly, when people are receiving their tax assessment bill and they have a certain amount of time to contest that. Seeking abatement or deferral or a compromise, and that's done usually before it hits the tax lien sale, the deed sale as well. But foreclosure, if you're going to foreclosure route, these are some of the things you really want to pay attention to. Okay, refinance cannot happen in the middle of a foreclosure, but these are some of the things you want to be well rounded about and know about. So locating the property, the research is everything. Okay. You want to know, what are you looking for? So we know the state. We kind of got an idea what county we're going into. We know that it is a deed state, or we know it's a tax lien state, or we're looking for foreclosures. We're already there. Now, what do we want? Foreclosures usually deal with the home being on the property. So if you're looking for a plot of land, it'll be best for you to go the tax lien method, because they have more land and lots that's available. Deeds, sometimes you can find some land because they have land, but usually it has a property on it when it comes with a deed. The deed is connected to the actual physical property, not the land. So plots of land, best advice, go the tax lien method way, or you can buy land straight out, which is cheaper than anything. Not tax lien method, but it is cheap. Okay. Are you looking for residential or commercial properties? Consider what you're looking for. What's the end result? How you're going to go about securing the property once you get it? What are the things you need to do? Possibly, do you need a buffer amount of money to fix the house, especially if you're going to get a property that was on a tax lien list that could have been sitting there for a while and needs some things to be fixed? And that's why you have to do your due diligence, not only from the back door method and looking at the history of the home, and but you want to look at the outside, the body of the home as well, and get a good view. Okay. Locating the right investment. The research is everything. Okay. Research is everything. So during the research, these are some of the things that you're going to consider. Demand real estate makes you money. is that area in the demand? If you acquired at this much in the next couple, this amount of money in the next couple of years, would you be able to sell it for more? What is happening? You want to go to the chambers of commerce. You start looking at what new programs are coming out, how they're building up the community. You can learn the most from the chambers of commerce in your particular investment county or city, as well as you want to go to zoning. You want to see what's going on there, how is commercial building coming about. You want it's just know what your property can do for you, and also your investment can do for you, and also be diverse with your outcome. You may want to just buy and flip and sell, or you want to flip and hold, or you want to flip and put someone in the property. Those type of things. So you want to be diverse with your end result. Location, location, location. Okay. The location is considered. When I say location, you have to consider zoning considerations. Countryside, by the water. There's been few natural disasters, things that's happened that change the landscape, change zoning criteria, or zoning just changing because they want to bring more. They're building the infrastructure of a particular area and have more commercial investors coming. Is that happening? Something you need to consider. Will the taxes go up? Then then you want to look at the job and economic market. Are you renting? Would you have renters? Who are around? Is there a college around? Would you have college students around? Can you take this property and make it a small dormitory for college students? Can you make it a local small shop? Can it be commercial and residential? The job and economics of the particular area is very important. And this is the foundational thinking that you want to have when you're going into any real estate sector. These are the things you want to talk about, know about population growth, because that's going to affect the inflation. That's going to affect the taxes, rent prices, rent and the prices to own the home. What's the ratio? What would you bring back if that's what you're going to be doing with this particular property? Would you make more money if you just flip it? Those particular things. Make it an Airbnb. What is the Airbnb laws out there? Can you do that? Okay. Education is very important, because you want to consider education when you look at Zillow and you look at these other real estate platforms that give you a breakdown of what's going on in the area. The education usually coincides with the income. Okay, you have bachelor's degrees, 80%. You're in the $60,000 income bracket, $80,000 income bracket. Those are the type. That's the type of income that you would expect to be coming into the area, and that you can base your rent on. What type of services? Now, if you have a lower educational level or income level, you may be having to deal with more government services. So these are the things that you're going to think about. You're going to move forward to look for these government services prior. They have urban development loans you can use to help build up the property as well. And you'll find that when you go to NACO. We went into NACO. NACO is amazing. You can find a lot about counties. Okay. Transportation. Do you have transportation? Do they have to Uber everywhere? Do they have trains and buses? Very important. Do they have an airport close? This is going to tell you what type of people are going to come around. Are you going to be able to have tourists coming in? This is a tourist attraction. Okay. The most important thing that I have to tell people who are investing in tax liens and land, avoid land locks when looking into plots of land. That is the most important thing. You always want to get a visual. That's why we have a full seminar breaking down how to use the GIS map, cross-reference the GIS map with other maps to make sure that you're visualizing your potential investment property thoroughly. It's always good to have boots on the ground. That's why we say start with one particular state, one particular area, and it will help you navigate your investments and know what to expect as well. Okay. So estimating the return for your investment. What is going to be the purchase price? How are you coming in here? Are we doing tax liens? We're doing $5,000, waiting on it. What is the rules to obtain that property in your state? Do you have to do a conventional foreclosure? No, or do you just have to get a title search done and do a semi-judicial action like in Georgia? So we break that down, and that sometimes can cost you a little bit more money to solidify the deal. Sometimes it's pretty cheap. You can do it yourself, and that's why we want you to know how to do it. So sometimes you can determine, am I going to do it myself, or am I going to pay an expert like a lawyer to do it for me? What is the interest rate? That is what you want to consider when you're investing in tax liens. When am I going to get back? Tax liens is based on compound interest. Okay, so if your money's set for 6 months and it's 12%, then you are expecting to get 6% back on your initial investment if the homeowner pays the penalties and everything that needs to be paid. Okay, what is the interest rate? Sometimes you have 2-year redemption states, and you get 2 years worth of interest when you go solidify the next year that is due. Okay, and then that doubles up your interest for your investment. Things that you may monies that you may have not acquired with your money sitting in a CD or sitting in a bank account that usually we liquidate over time. So, what is the redemption period? When am I going to close the deal? What can I do in the meantime? Educate, educate, educate. Save money, budgeting. That is the foundational framework that I always push to people is budget yourself. Get control of your household. Continue to build the savings for your investment and savings for your family as well, because you don't know what you may run into. There may be something that you need to do with the property. Could be small. Maybe you need a roof, didn't know. Things like that, because you're not able to go into these properties until you actually have ownership. So that is the little pitfall that we try to like jump over by doing a thorough due diligence, so we can mitigate how much money we may have to put into this particular investment. Okay. So, with the redemption period, that means just use your time wisely, use your dollar wisely, know when it's coming up, know when you need to move forward, stay in contact with the entities you need to stay in contact, i.e., if it's the lawyer, i.e., if it is the Treasury office, the assessor's office, so you can get that next lien to make sure that you first in line. If it's more than 1 year redemption period, auction costs, sometimes they ask you to put money down, i.e., example, Arizona. When we were going to Arizona, I believe Arizona is very high class with their tax liens, and Arizona makes you put $500 down, and it goes towards your investment, and you can get that money back if you don't um, invest. Or they'll ask you to prove that you have money, or have a budget. Sometimes they'll say, hey, what is your budget? Okay, you got $10,000, that's what you put. And I don't think they restrict you from going over that, but I do believe that they want to make sure, verify funds in some particular states and counties. So miscellaneous fees you want to be aware of, if there are, or any, if there are any. Okay. Jersey got a lot of fees, so be aware of that. Jersey has a lot of fees. So things to consider is the purchase price. Tax liens can be purchased for at least $2,500. County may have fees, other requirements. See the county for other specific information. Interest rate. All right, so we want to consider interest rate, the taxes and the penalty, and that is going to let you know what total profit you're going to have. The initial taxes and penalties is what you're going to be actually putting in, and you're going to be getting back out plus the interest. Okay. Other things to consider. So when we're talking about the redemption period, it can vary between 6 months to 2 years, and that depends on what state. 6 months is, for example, Maryland. Georgia is 1 year. Arizona, I think Arizona is 2 years. Don't quote me. Using your time, excuse me, using your time wisely is very important. Invest in research, getting ready for the outcome. That's what you do with your time. Multiple redemption periods. Calculate correctly, especially if you have multiple tax certificates out there. You don't want your tax certificate to ripen and you don't want it, meaning expired, okay? Calculate your budget correctly. Calculate what you will get correct. Know what you're expecting to get if it's redeemed, and know what you're expecting to spend if you have to move forward with the redemption process or foreclosure process in our sector. Keep good records of all your investments. Do, because at the end of the year, you are a business owner. As an investor, you have to pay taxes on property that is sold and purchased. Do the tax lien when you get interest. They do send you a 1099 if you get a significant amount of interest, but those all add up. So stay in contact with the county, make friends, have great communication skills, because it's like you're a resident there. You don't want to be just considered an investor. You want to be considered a resident, because they need you guys to, or us to invest to keep their market value up. They don't want empty homes. This is the reason why they do these processes of tax liens and foreclosures and deeds, because they don't want these properties sitting abandoned. So before going to the auction or investing in over-the-counter properties, because we didn't get in over-the-counter, but we'll touch it just a little bit. Over-the-counter is properties that has been left over from previous tax sales. And if they don't sell tax lien every month, like how Georgia do, usually they have the over-the-counter method. Most likely, you contact the county and say, hey, I'm looking to find the list related to how can properties that was not sold at the last auction that you hold 2 months ago. We know you hold it every 6 months. Are there any residual? You have to understand or try to gain hold of the lingo that different states use. They'll say over the counter sale. Some people are like, what is that? You'll say residual properties that's left from the last tax lien sales, those type of things. You figure out what the county, how they address that, because it could be different. While bidders regularly bid on tax sale properties sight unseen, that does not mean you sidestep any kind of research. You want to know what you are bidding on, okay? Going into the auction with a list of properties that meet your bidding criteria. You want to have at least 5 properties that you want to bid on, and you have the monies, and you want to have that budget. Don't go over. Did you go over and you can't pay for it? That may restrict you from the tax lien sale. There are 4 entities to utilize to conduct your research. That is your due diligence. We're going to disclose that to you guys. And much of it can be done online or conducted online. So researching tax properties before tax sales before the auction. This is tax sales. This is foreclosure. This is deed sale. This is for all alternative investors. These are the go-to that you want to go. I'm giving you the 4 entities. Okay, I'm giving you the Jews. The county treasurer. This is the office that conducts the sale related to the tax lien sale and deed if it's offered. And we'll have the list properties selected for the tax sale auction several weeks before the auction begins with that list. Sometimes you can, not most times, you can find this same information on in the local newspaper, as we mentioned, because they have to advertise this for the tax lien sale and the foreclosure properties that they have, or the ones that's coming up for foreclosure. County assessors. You want to have the county assessors website. You want to keep tabs on that property, know the history of the property, how the taxes has been increasing or decreasing. The tax assessor's office, when you have a parcel of interest, use the assessor's office to look up their potential value. So you want to look at the value through the tax assessor's office, because that's where you're going to start to do your due diligence to get comps. You want to know the basis of your property, and then you're going to start to look within an 18-mile radius to see, can you compare, especially if you are a wholesaler, especially if you are a seller. You want to start the comps now. What can I sell this for? The county recorder, a very important entity that all real estate investors should know, because that's where you're going to find the body of your information about your property. That's where you're going to find the birth certificate, the history of it. That's what I call the deed, the birth certificate, the changes of the house via ownership. At the recorder's office, you can investigate whether there are any other liens, claims, or judgments as well, like an existing tax lien or even an IRS lien against the property if they offer that. We do teach you how to go look for IRS liens when you join the course. Something very important because that is a lien that you cannot remove off of the property. Such issues can be common with tax delinquent owners. You may not want to bid on a property with a lot of claims against it because you're going to have to do your due diligence, put them all on notice, and get them, to basically release their claim if they're not the IRS. The next important entity, number 4, is the county surveyor. If you found the listing of interest, you can look up their plat map. That's another way that you're going to compare and contrast the visuals of the property. You got Google, you got GIS, and you got a plat map there. Okay. Also, you go to the zoning office, they may have a map as well to help you look. Okay. The area views, so you're going to look at the plat map and area views to see if they are worth considering. Some tax sale parcels are land locks, unusual shape, set miles from any development, or have no road access. Make them virtually worthless. So you have to do your due diligence, okay? Sometimes people hold land and it change over time, but if you're ready to do something, you want to make sure that all of those obstacles are out of the way, okay? You don't want to have any issues like landlocks, no road access, um, you know, miles away from amenities. Some people want that though. So the redemption period, the tax lien redemption period is a crucial time frame that dedicates how long the property owner must pay their delinquent taxes plus interest and penalties to reclaim their property after a tax lien certificate has been sold. So they have a redemption period, 6 months, 1 year, plus whatever interest is being put on that property for that time. And that's what you're going to be due to. That's going to go straight to you. This period can vary significantly, ranging from 6 months to as long as 2 years, depending on the specific state laws and sometimes even the type of property. If it is an ownership of a senior, there's some laws sometimes that gives them more time to redeem, or someone who is disabled more time to redeem those particular things. Or if it's a homeowner association, we advise you not to go there. But if you do, there's going to be more steps you have to do to redeem that property. Okay, the stakes are high. If the property owner fails to redeem within this period, the investor who purchased the tax lien certificate effectively gains the right to begin foreclosure proceedings, potentially leading to ownership of the property. Ultimately, the redemption period serves as a final opportunity for the owner to avoid losing their property. And its expiration mark is pivotal outcome for one investor stands to receive the property. So if that owner does not redeem, you are in the position to move forward with foreclosing or whatever judicial or non-judicial property the law fits for that particular state. Foreclosure considerations. This is us doing our due diligence. Several factors require careful evaluation. Has the TLC bank mortgage been fully paid? The tax lien bank mortgage. Now, we don't worry about if it's paid. We worry about if they were put on notice. Are there any other liens on the property? Yes, because everyone who has a lien, you have to put them on notice to clear the title. Are there any federal, state, or any other debt lien attached to the property? These are one that may stay attached that you have to pay. Only the IRS that I know of that you will have to pay if it's attached. That's why we ask you to do your due diligence. What is what is the mark price of the home in relation to the cost, repairs, insurance, and other related expenses. These are the things you want to consider when you're moving forward to the foreclosure process. That's why during the redemption period, you wanted to budget and save, do your due diligence, and know what you're supposed to do next and be prepared. So, for more comprehensive understanding, refer to the seminar on foreclosure process. Okay. And that is an intro to alternative real estate investments. This is what we do monthly. We have an open forum for you guys to come ask us questions. You know, if you are a foreclosure investor, you go to foreclosure route, tax deed investor, you go that route. We're here to help you. What we want to show you is that we do have some updates on the website. So we're going to just ask you guys to take a look at the website. We made it more user friendly for you guys. So we don't have as many tabs up here for you, to navigate through. But as we tell you, this is an educational platform. In this educational platform, you can gain access to our seminars as well as our full tax lien and tax deed course. So here you can also gain access to our legal real estate consulting services. If you're in the middle of any type of transaction that you have questions on, legal questions, we can help you do your due diligence, refer you in the right direction, refer you with the right resources, and point you in the right direction to get your issues handled. And sometimes you can end up even handling it yourself. So these are some of our consulting services. As you can see, this is where our free monthly information session is. These are little breakdown bubbles that will break down what we offer: real estate legal consultant services, credit consulting, building, consultant services. That is for members who are actually in the course. As we tell you, very important for you to budget and save. Sometimes you just have to have some ideas, have a little coaching. So when you're within our membership, as within the full course, we do offer you two or one or two free credit building sessions, as well as, depending what course you're in, you have two or three live um, consulting courses with me or sessions with me to get you through the process. All right. So this is some of the consulting services that we do have. We do have a new one-on-one consulting service to help you acquire tax liens and tax deed. It is a one-on-one acquisition service where we work with you for up to 3 months to help you acquire your property. We also allow or give you access to the full course in this particular program. And in the full course, you will do your due diligence. It will help you do your due diligence while you're getting prepared for the tax lien sale. You also have sessions with me that will help you navigate what you are going to do or what you need to do. Um, this is a 3 month consultation service, and we have the breakdown here for you guys if you want to know more about it. It's a 5-step consultation service for you. So it's 5-step consultation of property acquisition services for new investors. We break it down in detail. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. This is our new service that we do have. And again, if you are interested in our monthly seminars, please go to Legal Real Estate Consultant. You'll go to monthly information session. It'll take you down here. And this is where you'll book your different services. Up here, we'll give you detailed breakdown of what these services offer. Okay. So I want to say thank you for being with us this month in our free information session. Please continue to put your questions in the box and we will answer them accordingly. If you want to come on the screen, you are willing, you are able, but we do thank you for participating in the chat and we will continue to answer your questions. Again, we do have another information session coming up. It's going to be the first week of April. and that is going to be the 6th. Please look out for notifications for that. Until then, I want to say thank you for being with us, and we will see you in our next live.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.